between Franklin and Marshall College and your Salisbury University Seagulls. Here are today's starting lineups. First, for Franklin and Marshall College. Batting first, the center fielder, number 2, Kengo Kawahara. Batting second, the shortstop, number 10, Justin Kaveen. Batting third, the first baseman, number 21, Dan Morano. Batting fourth, the right fielder, number 9, Matthew Can. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 19, Don DiLoretto. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 23, J.J. Freeman. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 27, Lincoln Pantel. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 28, Max Schwartz. Batting ninth, the catcher, number 13, Danny Blugas. And on the mound for the Diplomats, number 31, Andrew Massis. Now the starting lineup for Salisbury University. Batting first, the third baseman, number 22, Jack Barry. Batting second, the right fielder, number 17, Brad Keith. Batting third, the shortstop, number 1, Scott Ardoin. Batting fourth, the catcher, number 25, Jack Decker. Batting fifth, the first baseman, number 23, Jay Perry. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, number 30, Simon Palanchar. Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 8, Will Gutekunst. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 6, Colby Dean. Batting ninth, the left fielder, number 3, Brad Hawes. And on the mound for the Seagulls, number 34, Austin Heenan. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Good afternoon and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Seagull Sports Network. Thanks for tuning in for some afternoon baseball here in Salisbury. Bit of a switch in the schedule brings Franklin and Marshall on the road here into Seagull Baseball Stadium on this Tuesday afternoon. So that's the matchup we've got going for you here today. A little bit of mix-up on the mic. This is Chase Gorski without our typical head broadcaster, Drew Williams. He'll be back in action tomorrow, but fear not, you're in the right place. So some Tuesday afternoon action against the Salisbury Seagulls and the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats. Both teams looking to get back on the right track, bringing a 2-game losing streak, both teams into today, but trying to get it going as we run through these lineups really quick. Franklin and Marshall Diplomats going to be led off by Kengo Kawahara, followed up by Justin Kaveen. Dan Morano in the third spot. Matthew Can batting cleanup. Don DiLoretto in the 5 spot, followed by J.J. Freeman, then Lincoln Pantel, Max Schwartz, and Danny Blugas will round out that lineup. And they'll face the left-hander for this Salisbury unit in Austin Heenan. Heenan coming out his first outing since that loss against CNU. Went 6 innings pitched in that outing, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Gave up 5 runs, but only 2 earned off of 9 hits. So Heenan will look to get going back again against this Diplomat squad. As we mentioned, both teams coming into today in a 2-game losing streak. Salisbury at 10-7. The Diplomats coming into today at 5-7-1, trying to get things turned around before their conference play really starts to heat up. Salisbury will be in action tomorrow and this weekend in some CAC matchups, so look forward to this game getting underway. A bit of a different look in the field from Salisbury as familiar names Perry over at first, Ardoin at short, and Barry at third, but that'll be it as Austin Heenan gets ready to bring that first pitch. Swung on immediately and popped up. Gutekunst and Ardoin come together in the middle, but Ardoin underneath of it, and that's a quick first pitch, first out for Austin Heenan, the way you want to get this game started if you're Heenan. Start to be efficient early on, but as we mentioned, a little bit of a mix-up in the field. Will Gutekunst getting his second start in a row over at second base after his good outing in that last game against Gwynedd Mercy, and then a completely new outfield, a rarity here in Salisbury. Brad Haas out in left field, Brad Keith in right, and then Colby Dean getting the start in center. So the first pitch there for Heenan to Kaveen will be a ball. And 1-0 quickly. Heenan brings the 1-0, and the changeup on the outside corner is going to be called for a strike, so now even to the count for Kaveen. Kaveen, shortstop for this Diplomat squad, coming into today hitting .212 as he watches that curveball that Austin Heenan loves to use so much break right onto the outside corner for strike 2. So now Kaveen working down in the count with a 1-2. Heenan brings the 1-2, a high heat. But Kaveen luckily staying off of that one, knowing a little better. So now Heenan dealing with a 2-2 count. As mentioned, 1 out from the pop-up. That ball's just kind of cut on. You can see Kaveen in between the swing, but leaves the check out there a little too much and fouls it off. Count will stay at 2-2. Kaveen, one of the everyday starters for this Diplomat squad. 7 for 33 so far on the year as he watches that one, and just a little low and inside from Heenan, so the count will run full now. So after a quick first pitch, first out to Kengo Kawahara to start off this inning, Austin Heenan gets to a battle in a full count, and that ball's fouled off back towards the press box. So Kaveen stays alive. As we mentioned, Austin Heenan coming into this Salisbury team this year, really making a name for himself early on. Looked to be the go-to guy for Coach Brohan in this rotation, the number 1 guy that he's going to go to. So far on the year, 2-2. As that 3-2 pitch as well fouled off towards the right side, and Kaveen stays alive once again, making Heenan bring a lot of pitches in this at-bat. So Heenan 2-2 coming into today, a 2.25 ERA, 32 innings pitched, and this is his fourth start this year. So that full count pitch, and there's that breaking ball right down the middle, and Kaveen just gives it a look, and he's rung up. So Kaveen walks back to the dugout, and Austin Heenan gives a trot around the mound as he gets out number 2 and his first strikeout of the day. And a quick 2 outs here for Salisbury.
All right, come on, 3-4.
As now he'll face Dan Morano. Morano, the senior, one of the few seniors on this Diplomat squad. The first baseman, one of the many lefties that this Diplomats team will bring, pops it up. Austin Heenan and Decker around it. Decker calls him off and makes the catch, so just like that, Austin Heenan and Jack Decker with a high five to end the inning and a nice pop-up, so Austin Heenan gets the game started that way he wants. 3 up, 3 down quickly for Salisbury, and stay with us as we move into the bottom of the first here on the Seagull Sports Network.
Leading off for the Seagulls, the third baseman, number 2.
Bottom of the first here on the Seagull Sports Network in Salisbury, as the Seagulls sporting a bit of a different look here in today's lineup. Jack Barry getting the leadoff spot in the start at third base, so Barry will lead it off, followed by Brad Keith and Scott Ardoin at the 3 spot. Batting cleanup will be Jack Decker, followed by Jay Perry, Simon Palanchar, Will Gutekunst, Colby Dean, and Brad Haas. So Barry takes that first pitch up and in, and he'll go against the right-hander for the Diplomats, Andrew Massis. Massis coming into today, the senior, 1-1, 6.75 ERA on 13 1/3 so far this year. He brings that second pitch towards the outside corner. Barry lets it go, but it's called for a strike. So now 1-1 comes from Massis, and Barry swinging on that one, but just above it, as that'll now move to a 1-2. Massis, his third start so far this year for Franklin and Marshall. An off-speed pitch too far outside. A bit of a chase pitch there for Barry, but not budging. So now the 2-2 pitches. Massis will get set on the mound. He'll deliver the 2-2, and Barry swinging hard on that one. A high fastball, and can't hold up as he'll go down swinging for out number 1. So Andrew Massis also making quick work of the first batter. Quick strikeout to start off his day. Massis, so far this season, on 13 1/3 innings pitched, he's got 18 strikeouts. That's his 19th so far on the year, so he looks to use that swing and a miss often in his appearances, as Brad Keith will bounce that one over to third. Schwartz will make the play, the throw over to Morano, and easy out number 2.
Now batting the shortstop, number 1, Scott Ardoin.
So that'll bring up Scott Ardoin. Ardoin, the senior shortstop, coming into today, hitting .317. Had a rough outing against Gwynedd Mercy, 0 for 4, snapping a 5-game hit streak. Was able to tally 1 walk, but that was about it for the senior. Shows bunt on the first pitch, and Massis collects an easy first strike. So now the 0-1 from Massis, 2 outs. And Ardoin swinging on a breaking ball that just hits around the outside half of the plate, but too much on it. And Ardoin a swing and a miss, so quickly down 0-2 now. So the 0-2 from Massis delivers a similar off-speed pitch, but pulls that one down and into the turf as Blugas is going to have to block that and keep it in front of him, but a 1-2 count now, and Ardoin tries to move into a bit of a patient mentality up at the plate, also trying to be defensive. So the 1-2 pitch is another breaking ball. That one hangs right in the middle, but Ardoin pops it up to the right side. Morano's over there, and Morano traveling back and able to make the catch. So just like that, 3 up, 3 down. Both offenses go down swinging in the first inning and nothing doing. No hits on the board, no runners on. So we'll move here into the top of the second. Stay with us on the Seagull Sports Network.
Hadn't had a good time since you know when. Got talked into going out with hopes you were staying in. I was feeling like myself for the first time in a long time, till I bumped into some of your friends over there talking to mine. Then you rolled in with your hair in the wind, baby, without warning. I was doing alright, but just your side had my heart storming. The moon went high and stars quit shining. Rain was dropping, thunder, lightning. You wrecked my whole world when you came and hit me like a hurricane. You hit me like a hurricane.
Now batting the right fielder, number 9.
So we move here into the second after a blazing quick first inning from both teams. Both pitchers settling into a groove early, and the offense is swinging early, and a couple pop-ups and a ground out gets both Heenan and Massis out of their respective innings. So Heenan will get back to work. He'll face up against Matthew Can. Can takes that first pitch low and away for ball 1. Can, one of the 5 left-handed hitters coming to the plate in this game, and he'll send that one right back up the middle, and so that's the first hit of the day coming for the Diplomats, and Matthew Can, as he takes that pitch from Austin Heenan, puts it right back up the middle, and he'll reach there for first. So now after a quick first inning, quick swinging by Can, and he's on first base, so we'll see Heenan work out of the stretch for the first time today. Mentioned Heenan getting a handful of starts so far this year. Opponents typically struggling with him at the plate as he brings that first pitch breaking ball, that sweeping curveball in for a strike. He'll move up 0-1 on Don DiLoretta. So DiLoretta awaits the 0-1, and he swings on that one. Obliges on the heat right down the middle, but a swing and a miss, and it'll be 0-2 now. Heenan not one to give up a lot of hits. Opponents just hitting 197 off of him this year. We talked about the difference in earned runs and unearned runs against Heenan. Walks have been something that have plagued him in a couple of his starts so far this year. He gets a ground ball right to Ardoin. Ardoin the flip to Gutekunst, who turns it. Perry has to jump, but jumps off the bag and able to make the tag. So a great ground ball there from Austin Heenan, and good play there from Perry on the back end to get 2. So just when the Diplomats seem to be able to get to work in the second inning, a ground into a double play ruins any sort of momentum, and Austin Heenan now working with 2 outs. Good work from Perry, as we've seen a few times this year, some errant throws, and he's had to work with them. Does a great job there, as that throw from Gutekunst a little off the bag, but great presence of mind to hop off and make the tag. So Heenan quickly back to work against J.J. Freeman for strike 1. And that pitch is going to just miss for a ball. So now the 1-1 from Heenan. So he'll get set to go. Mentioned that a lot of left-handed hitters, as that pitch makes it 2-1. A lot of left-handed hitters coming from this Franklin and Marshall squad. Left-handed hitters not having a lot of success on Salisbury pitchers, hitting only .207 so far this year. Heenan brings that pitch, and that's just going to be just low. So that bounces right into Decker and now moves to 3-1. So Heenan going to be forced to come all the way back here against Freeman. Freeman, one of the many young freshmen, draws the walk. So just as we talked about the walk earlier, Heenan, that's his 15th walk so far this year. He'll allow a walk there, his first free pass of the day, and Freeman will reach. That shows that double play hurts Franklin and Marshall just a little bit. So now it'll be Lincoln Pantel, designated hitter, set in to try and get a 2-out rally going against this Salisbury team. It'll be on the move, and the bunt's laid down. Decker gets to it, though, makes the throw, and that'll be an out. So the bunt to try and get a base hit here and move the runner as well does not work out. Gets right to Decker, and just like that, 2 opportunities squandered there for Franklin and Marshall. So Austin Heenan gets out of the inning, but the Diplomats get their first hit on the board. Salisbury will get their chances here in the bottom of the second. Stay with us here in Salisbury.
Oh, son. Around these ponds ain't much to do. Sit and work like a dog to Friday. Punch that clock and cash that check. Raise a little hell till Sunday. It's about that time. There's a party bang in the woods tonight. Heard it through the redneck grapevine. Got a keg of beer and a bunch of girls. Sure enough, gonna be a good time. It's a small town. Throw down. It's time to tall board up. Let them tailgates down. And then it's on tonight. Right into the morning light. Crank that country up loud. It's a small town.
So it'll be Jack Decker here to lead off the bottom of the second. Decker, one of 2 in a platoon role for the designated hitter spot, but actually getting the start behind the plate, his second start as the catcher for this Salisbury team, giving way for Matt Padaway. Decker so far this year has seen a handful of successes at the plate, but so far 1 for 8 in his past 3 games played. Decker coming into today hitting .304, but a .448 batting on base percentage is what you should keep an eye on as he puts that ball over to right field, right between the first and second baseman, and just like that, very similar things as in the top of the second. Salisbury gets their first hit off of the Jack Decker single. Now it'll be Jay Perry stepping to the plate. Perry trying to swing a hot bat, coming off of a great game against Gwynedd Mercy. One of the few players who had success at the plate against Gwynedd Mercy. We saw an offense that struggled for the Seagull team as Massis able to bring a strike on the outside corner. Perry, 2 for 3 against the Griffins on Sunday. One of the 2 runs scored for this Seagull team, but also able to tally a walk, so bring that average up to 254 as he puts that one into left field just past the diving Schwartz. Not able to get a glove on it, and back-to-back singles now as the Seagulls try and string things together. One thing that Salisbury has seen their struggles with hitting is trying to get ahead early and often. They're 8-1 so far this season when scoring first. The difference is when they don't. As a team hitting .274 coming into today and trying to turn things around as they get into the heat of their schedule. So it'll be the big lefty, Simon Palanchar, as he gets set to lay down a bunt. Does it right to Massis toward the right side, and he throws that one, but off the bag as Morano has to come off, and just like that, Palanchar reaches. Palanchar reaches on that one. Unsure if they're going to rule that one a hit or an error. Looked to be a throwing error there from Massis. Just rushed it, and that can be the problem sometimes. You got a guy on the mound forced to make a position player-esque play. So Massis has to come off the mound and field that bunt. Just rushes the throw, and it's a little off, so it brings Morano off, and Palanchar reaches. So now the hot bat of Will Gutekunst comes to the plate. He's in a great position here with none down, and the base is loaded for the Seagulls. Gutekunst's been given 2 starts in a row now over Jimmy Adkins, the freshman, who's just trying to find his bat, as he brings that first pitch for a strike. Now Massis in a position where definitely needs to look to do some damage control here to get out of this one. But we've seen it pretty often where Salisbury misses some chances with runners on. That all-speed pitch will be well outside. Gutekunst lets it go, and it'll move even to 1-1. So Decker on third, Perry on second, Palanchar on first. 2 singles followed by a throwing error. Loads the bases here in the bottom of the second. Gutekunst lets that pitch go, but just enough of the inside part of the plate as it'll be a strike 2. Salisbury only hitting .265 with runners on base this year. It's been a struggle of theirs leaving runners on. Left 13 runners on against Gwynn and Mercy as Gutekunst dribbles that one over to second base and does the job. Freeman able to make the play and get Gutekunst at first, but Decker able to score and the runners able to advance. So if you're Salisbury, you at least get a runner in. Gutekunst does the job as Salisbury takes an early 1-0 lead here against Franklin and Marshall. So now it'll be the left-handed hitter Colby Dean. Colby Dean getting the start out in center field. The injured Justin Meekins ran into an injury last game as Dean swinging early. Pops that one up into shallow left field, but well foul, and no chance for DiLoretto to get over there. Colby Dean, a bit of a roller coaster of an early season here for the senior outfielder. Hitting .378 coming into today. An on-base percentage of .439, slugging .541. But those numbers have come significantly down since he gained a starting role in the outfield a few games into the season. Dean swinging again, 0-2. We've seen a couple versions of Dean at the plate, and the one we're seeing right now is an aggressive Colby Dean, taking 2 healthy hacks on the first 2 pitches, but not able to make good contact early on and down 0-2. So now Massis with a chance to set him down, brings a fastball well out, but no swing from Dean as it moves to even at 2-2. Opponents hitting .264 so far against Massis this year. As he brings the 1-2 to Colby Dean. Colby Dean puts it over once again to Freeman at second base. So he does the job just like Gutekunst, puts it in the same spot, and we've seen Colby Dean hit it over there all year. But luckily just dribbles enough, and Freeman able to get there, and Morano able to get back to the plate. So Dean does the job, and now the Seagulls move up 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. So now it'll be Brad Haas stepping to the plate, the young sophomore outfielder, getting another start in left field as he's swinging at the first pitch as well. Fouls that one off towards the Salisbury dugout on the third base side. So after the bases have been loaded, a couple fielders' choices get 2 runners in, and now Simon Palanchar sits 90 feet away, waiting for Brad Haas to get him in. Massis leaves that off-speed pitch well up. He'll move even to 1-1. Haas, the sophomore, hitting just under 300 at 296. This is his 8th start so far this year. As he dribbles that one once again to Freeman. Freeman will take the high chopper, make the throw over to Morano, and an easy out number 3. So Massis able to avoid a lot of damage. Only 2-run score on 2 hits. But Salisbury able to get on the board first here in this one. The Diplomats will have a chance to get back to their offense here in the top of the third. Stay with us.
You're feeling good, you're feeling right. Across the floor and I'm already losing my mind. Baby girl, looking fine. Watch you playing these guys. Catch my stare, little smile. Tell me that you're ready and you're feeling the vibe. Someday I'll be so damn sublime. We'll arrive behind the hashtag sign. I won't forget you, but I may forget your name, my lady. I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me when you're stoked to start? Are you ready for tonight? Setting it on fire and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. My lady, I know what you're thinking when the bass starts ringing. Can you tell me?
Leading off for the Diplomats, the third baseman, number 28, Max Schwartz.
Setting it on fire and we'll dance until we're dumb in the dark. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So welcome back here on the Seagull Sports Network. I'm Chase Gorski bringing you this Tuesday matinee action between Salisbury and Franklin and Marshall as Austin Heenan sets and kicks for the first pitch of the top of the third, brings that in for a strike on the outside corner. Heenan up against Max Schwartz. Schwartz, the third baseman for this Diplomat side. Down in an 0-2 count early on here. Schwartz, another one of these underclassmen for the Franklin and Marshall side, a really youthful team they've got bringing into this season. As he's swinging on that off-speed pitch, and Heenan will take another walk around the mound as that'll be strike number 3 and strikeout number 2 for Austin Heenan of the day. So now Danny Blugas will come up to the plate, the catcher for the Diplomats. Blugas, the only junior in this starting lineup for Franklin and Marshall, hitting .276 on the year. Only played and started in 7 games. 7 of the 13 that Franklin and Marshall has played so far this year. Seen a few different guys behind the plate for the Diplomat side. So 1-out count to Blugas, and he lets that one go up as well. Austin Heenan leaves that one high, and now 2-0 in the count.
Come back now. Get it.
So Heenan gets through his windup in the delivery, and that ball's grounded over to Arduin at short. A couple hops in the throw over to Perry, and that'll be it. Now 2 down here for Salisbury. Austin Heenan trying to get set in his rhythm and get going. So he gets a nice easy ground out there at the bottom of the lineup from Blugas. And now 2 down here for the Diplomats. So back to the top of the lineup as it's Kengo Kawahara. Kawahara pop out in his first at bat. We saw him first pitch swinging, popped up behind second base. Arduin able to get under it. So he'll get set to take his second hacks of the day. Lets that one go in a little bit less aggressive on the first pitch in this one, and lets that one go for 1-0. Kawahara, the sole senior in this starting lineup today. Senior center fielder hitting .360. Swings and lines that one over towards Perry, but Perry able to make the play on the hop. So Austin Heenan gets rolling. The bottom of the lineup gives way. The top of the lineup has nothing else to say as well as Kawahara grounds that one out. And 3 up, 3 down once again here for Austin Heenan, and nothing doing there for the Diplomats in the top of the third. Salisbury will get ready to go and try and add to their 2-run lead in the bottom of the third. Stay with us.
"17, now
only way I had a car is after I dropped my mama off where she needed to go. Football tires with the ceiling falling and the window stuck, but the only thing that I cared about was the radio. We turn it on, turn it up to 10, and everybody would jump on in. Riding down the highway, who wants to be the DJ? I'll find a spot on the side of the road. You find something on the radio, like a real good song. We'll know it when it comes on. Didn't have no money, no place to go. All we needed was a radio.
Leading off for the Seagulls, third baseman, number 22, Jack Berry.
So it'll be the junior third baseman, Jack Berry, stepping up to the plate. Berry finally getting back to action after we saw that hamstring earlier on in the season. So he gets squared to bunt, but leaves the breaking ball away. But it's going to be called for a strike nonetheless as Massis puts that one right down the heart of the plate. Berry, a guy who has been known to test the third baseman with a couple bunts to try and get on base, try and get that hitting going as he sees another curveball. Back-to-back pitches, swings on it in 0-2 now. Massis will look to get going, set down the top of this lineup quickly, and another off-speed pitch, but one too many there for Massis as Berry was dead red on the curveball, sits on it, drives it right back where it came up the middle. So 2 straight innings, Salisbury's got the leadoff guy on via the single. This time it's Jack Berry over there at first, and now Brad Keith steps to the plate. Keith, the ground-out victim, swinging early in his last at-bat. We saw Keith last game against Gwynedd Mercy start to see an appearance as he gets squared to bunt but pulls back. Leaves that one outside for a ball. Another perfect situation for Coach Brohan to utilize a bit of small ball here. We've talked about many times throughout this season he is known to do so. Jack Berry with the speed over at first. They have not had a chance to test Blugas behind the plate as Keith lays that one down right down the third base line. Looks like he's going to beat it out, and he does. A bobble from Schwartz. Saw a little bit of a miscommunication. Blugas tells Schwartz it's all his, and Schwartz bobbles it on the initial grab, and Keith is able to beat it out. So a base hit bunt there for Brad Keith, and just like that, similar things brewing here for the Seagulls in the bottom of the third. So now the first 2 on for this second straight inning. Scott Arduin steps to the plate here. Arduin trying to get back on track after that 0-4 appearance against the Griffins on Sunday. Only 4 RBIs this year, looking to possibly collect another. Looks to get set for the bunt, but Massis brings that one up and in, and he's got to duck out of the way as Arduin. And he does so. Leaves that one for ball 1. Salisbury, one of the biggest things that their offense has been unable to do this year is take advantage of the mistakes from other teams as Arduin bunts that one down the first base line, and he's hustling. He's going to beat that one out as well. 2 straight infield bunts. 2 straight bunts for base hits. As Keith followed up by Scott Arduin. Arduin puts that one beautifully down the first base line. Moreno looks to be there, but a double take on the throw as he's waiting for Freeman to get to first base, and just like that, 2 straight innings, bases loaded, and gives way to Jack Decker. Decker was the guy who started it last inning with that base hit. So now Massis, second straight inning in a little bit of trouble. No outs, bases loaded here for Jack Decker as he leaves that first pitch up. Biggest thing for Massis so far this inning, he's brought a couple pitches out of the zone to start these at-bats other than the bunts. We saw just 1 curveball too many to Jack Berry. But Massis really has been letting his infield, letting his defense try and do most of the work, but just a couple mental miscues That puts him in a tough situation. So now the count's at 1-1 for Jack Decker. Decker, as we mentioned, 3:04 coming into today as he sees that curveball, tries to sit back on it, but a little out in front, pops it up to Kaveen over at short. Kaveen underneath of it easily, makes the catch. So Mass is able to get another pop-out victim as the train rolls through Salisbury into left field, and it'll be Jay Perry stepping to the plate. Perry, the power guy for this Salisbury team. Salisbury has not seen a lot of power this year. Had a multitude of power last season, but trying to recreate it this year hasn't had a lot of that success. Perry, first pitch swinging, fouls it off behind home plate. So Massis moves up 0-1. Jay Perry coming into today, 9 runs scored, 11 RBIs, trying to add to that 11 count. He's got 2 home runs on the year, coming far earlier in the season. Salisbury's been without a home run for a handful of games. That curveball's going to be up and in, so Perry leaves that one. Now it moves to a 1-1 count. So Massis, looking in from the sign, trying to get what he wants from Blugas, does get it, comes set. Brings the 1-1 to Perry, and Perry drives that one, a ground ball over to Kaveen, who tries to turn 2, and the throw's going to do it, so right to Freeman, and just like that, Salisbury, a similar sight that we've seen this year, gets the bases loaded, and then a quick out, and then a ground into a double play, and they're not able to take advantage of it. 3 runners left on base off of 3 hits in that inning, and the lead is still at 2, and Massis able to escape some tough damage there, so the Diplomats will look to try and cut down on this Salisbury lead here in the top of the 4th. Stay with us on the Seagull Sports Network.
Leading off for the Diplomats, the shortstop, number 10, Justin Kaveen.
So it'll be Justin Kaveen who gets set in the box to take on Austin Heenan here in the top of the 4th to start it off for the Diplomats. Heenan brings that pitch, and the off-speed driven on by Kaveen puts that into left field. Haas gives chase, but Kaveen going to cruise into second for a stand-up double, and Franklin and Marshall, 2 straight innings now, that lead runner on.
Now batting the first baseman, number 21, Dan.
Excuse me, first time since back in the second. In the third, no runners on, but in the second, able to get that first runner on, and now the same thing here in the top of the 4th with the first double of the day for Franklin and Marshall. So Kaveen puts himself in scoring position, giving way to Dan Morano. Morano, the left-handed hitter. Gonna let that pitch go low from Austin Heenan for ball 1.
Come on, straight forward.
Franklin and Marshall looking to try and gain some momentum off of Massis getting out of that jam last inning. Able to strand the bases loaded. Now trying to give their pitcher a little bit of confidence with a couple runs on the board. That's a big swing from Morano on the fastball towards the outer part of the plate, but not able to get the bat on it as it's 1-1. Morano, the senior for this Diplomat squad, hitting .408 so far on the year. Easily the guy that's been leading this offense so far. It's been the guy that Franklin and Marshall has looked to. 12 starts so far, only was out of one game. He's played in and started 12 of the 13 games so far. Hitting .408, slugging .592. So a guy that Austin Heenan's going to have to keep an eye on here as the 1-1 comes in, and that one's just kind of off the handle to Jack Berry at third, but he gives a look, makes the play to Perry, and that's out for number 1. So an easy ground ball there from Austin Heenan. Just kind of catches Morano with a fastball on the inside part of the plate, right off the handle, and that one slowly rolls over to Berry. Easy play there for Berry. Does a good job not only making the throw, but keeping an eye on Kaveen over at second base. So Heenan able to get the out, number 1, that he needs. And now he'll face Matthew Can. Can looks at that sweeping breaking ball that we know from Austin Heenan. Doesn't give a swing, but it won't matter as that one's called for a strike. Can, the left-hitting freshman. Talked about the youth on this Diplomat squad. A big swing there from Can, and Austin Heenan brings that fastball low just where he can't get to it, but a swing either way. Now moves to 0-2. So the 0-2 here from Heenan, looking for his third punch out of the day. Gives a look to Kaveen over at second, then brings it in. That was dribbled right to Heenan. He's going to run over to first and make the flip to Perry. So just like that, 2 quick ground outs right off the handles. And Austin Heenan looking to completely erase that leadoff double with 2 down. So Heenan looking to get right back going. Hops right on the mound, looks into Decker. Heenan will face DiLoretto as DiLoretto lets that first pitch in there for strike 1. DiLoretto, we saw that first plate appearance after Can got on base and grounded into a double play. Looking to switch up those fortunes a little bit. Another one of these freshmen is DiLoretto. As he leaves that fastball in the inside corner. That ball from left-handed pitchers just coming in and cutting in right towards you. He lets it go, but luckily a little inside. So good eyes there from the freshman, moves it to 1-1. DiLoretto only his 7th start so far this season. Hitting .350 for Franklin and Marshall side. He takes the 1-1, pops it up, but straight back and out of play. As that'll just move this count to 1-2, and now Austin Heenan 1 pitch away from leaving a runner stranded in scoring position.
Come on, 3-4. Finish it here.
So Austin Heenan gets set on the 1-2. Brings that pitch in and popped up once again right off the handle. It's towards Berry and Ardoin, but Berry's going to take charge right in front of Ardoin, makes the grab, and that's out number 3. So Austin Heenan keeps rolling. 4th straight scoreless inning as Franklin and Marshall strands another runner over in scoring position at second base off of the leadoff double. So it'll be Andrew Massis getting back to work here in the bottom of the 4th, trying to keep things rolling as Salisbury's offense has been knocking on the door this past couple innings, trying to advance this 2-run lead. Stay here with us on the Seagull Sports Network.
Who knows where this road is supposed to lead? You got nothing but time. As long as you right here next to me, everything's gonna be alright. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. So won't you ride with me, see where this thing goes. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, if it's meant to be.
I don't mean to be so uptight, but my heart's been hurt a couple times by a couple guys that didn't treat me right. I ain't gonna lie, cause I'm tired of the fake love. Show me what you're made of, boy, make me believe.
Whoa, hold up, girl, don't you know you're beautiful? And it's easy to see. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. So won't you ride with me, see where this
2-0 here in Salisbury as the Seagulls hang on to their lead and try and get going off the bat of Simon Palanchar to kick off the bottom of the fourth. Quick change here for Franklin and Marshall as they'll make a defensive switch out in right field. It'll be the freshman Kelsey Lawney coming in. Lawney comes in and replaces Matthew Cann. So Massey brings the first pitch to the bottom of the fourth well outside, a fastball, and that'll be ball one to Simon Palanchar. Back-to-back pitches outside, so Palanchar up 2-0 early. Palanchar, the 6'5" left-handed hitter for this Salisbury team. Swings on and misses for strike one. Been one of the guys Salisbury has looked to bring some power, tied for the team lead in home runs at just 2 with Jay Perry. And looks at that outside corner. Massey, similar situation, similar pitch to those first two, but closer in as he gets the call from the home plate umpire, Danny Hess. So now 2-2 to Simon Palanchar. He fights that one off on the inside corner, puts it into left field for a base hit. Great work of inside-out hitting right there as that pitch placed well from Massey on the inside part of the plate, but Palanchar does a good job going down and getting it and putting it out into left field, just short of DiLoretto out there and left. So 3 straight innings, 3 straight hits to start off for Salisbury. As now it's Will Gutekunst who squares to bunt, bunts down the first base line, and it's rolling. Massey's going to make the play, and just in time the throw is to Morano as Coach Brohan tries to keep those bunts working and keeps testing this Diplomat defense. Massey takes it into his own hands there. A great bunt from Will Gutekunst. Puts it just parallel to the first base line. Almost in that brown path down first, but Massey does a good job making the play and making the throw as well. So 1 down, advances Palanchar to second. Now it's Colby Dean. Dean going to watch that first breaking ball in for a strike to move down 0-1. Dean an RBI in his last at bat. The fielder's choice over to second base to Freeman, who made the play. Had a busy second inning. Back with the bases loaded. Dean takes that fastball on the outside, swings and fouls it straight back to the netting. And so now it's 0-2. So Dean, working with an 0-2 count now, is forced to battle early. Dean, 10 strikeouts so far on the year. Lets that 0-2 pitch go well out, not going to swing for ball one. Moves it to 1-2. We saw last inning Salisbury leaving 3 runners stranded. They left 13 runners stranded against Gwynedd Mercy. The big storyline from that game after the 7-2 loss. Gwinnett Mercy, their first win against Salisbury on Sunday in program history. Runners left on base has been something that has haunted the Seagulls so far in this 2018 campaign. They're going to say that one hit Dean right on the elbow, so not what you want from Massey as he tries to bring that curveball on 1-2 count and just grazes that front elbow of Colby Dean. And he'll be able to reach first base. So home plate umpire Danny Hess will go over and have a talk with Franklin and Marshall coach Ryan Horning. Horning in his 5th year here at the helm with Franklin and Marshall. Just going to go out and have a chat about that always inconsistent and always controversial rule calling. Matter of fact, Danny Hess will go out and have a conversation with his field umpire. That's Harold Wiener out there behind the mound. They're going to talk about it and see if Dean made enough of an attempt to get out of the way. They're going to make the same calls. Hess moves back to home plate. We saw that actually right at the forefront against Gwinnett Mercy, and we saw one hit by a pitch where Salisbury was forced to come right back to the plate. It was Troy Miller hit right around the shoulder area. And it was the first time this season we've seen an umpire make the call. Or second time. We saw it earlier with Jack Berry in the season as well. So Brad Haas now, as he pops that one into shallow left field, but DiLoretto is there to make the grab, so the hit by pitch doesn't seem to affect Massey early on as he gets a pop fly from Haas, and now Salisbury in a position where they may strand 2 more here in the inning with Palanchar on second and Dean now on first, but it moves to the top of the lineup here with Jack Berry. So Berry gets ready as Massey is set and brings that fastball up. Berry lets it go, so the count moves to 1-0. Berry 378 on the year, but on-base percentage 500. What you expect from the junior third baseman. The guy knows how to get on base, does a great job of it. So he lets that pitch go for 2-0. Berry, one of these gamers for this Salisbury team that finds a way to get it done, but just there, knows he shouldn't have swung, but couldn't hold back just enough. As that fastball on the outside part of the plate's going to get half a swing from Berry, and it'll count. So now 2-1. Massey has been working that outside corner all game, trying to work those fastballs. He goes right back to it, and he'll get Berry on strike 2. Berry not too happy about it, but that fastball placed perfectly right on the black of the plate. So now Massey with a bit of an upper hand here on the 2-2, able to bring Berry what he wants. And I see Blugas tapping the ground, looks for the fastball, and just a little outside, potentially looking for that fastball low right at the knees to get a swing, but it's too far out. So now a full count. Palanchar on second, Dean on first for the Seagulls, looking to be moving here on the pitch with 2 down. Berry will call time and give himself a couple extra seconds. Mass is close to eclipsing the 50-pitch mark today. As that curveball gets Berry swinging, but he's able to foul off just enough of it on the end of the bat. So we'll do it all over again with another full count here. The breaking ball on that pitch, we saw back-to-back-to-back breaking balls against Berry in his last at-bat, and it was that third breaking ball that Berry was able to put it into play. Another breaking ball, but he leaves it up. So that'll be a walk for Jack Berry. He'll head to first, and now once again, 3 straight innings. Bases loaded for the Seagulls, and Massis has had to battle early and often so far today. And that time it's due to the walk to Jack Berry. So now it'll be Brad Keith again. Keith getting his second straight start after not seeing a lot of time here for Salisbury. Saw last season the two-way player switched around a lot of time on the mound, and then later on in the season became a big part of that lineup as a corner outfielder and at the plate. So far this season, now hitting .400, was 2-4 against Gwynedd Mercy. That first pitch from Massis gets away from Blugas, but Palanchar had his secondary moving a little too early and was already headed back to third, so no chance to get there. And Coach Horning will call time and try and settle down Massis. For Franklin and Marshall, a big moment here, looking to strand more Salisbury runners. Looking to keep this game close early. So far, Massis has done a good job at damage control. But going against a hot bat in Brad Keith. Keith slashing this year .400, .455 for on-base percentage, and slugging .600. 2 doubles and a walk, 2 runs, 1 RBI on the year as Horning will head back to the dugout. No action in the bullpen for Franklin and Marshall. Not looking to go to any reliever here, just headed out to give some words of wisdom to his guy on the mound. But so far today, Andrew Massis scattered 6 hits on 2 runs, left the bases stranded. Bases loaded last inning. 3 Salisbury runners left on. A runner left on back in the second. Trying to leave 3 more here in the bottom of the 4th. But Brad Keith looking to oppose that. So right after the mound visit, Massis gets set to go and brings that first pitch in for a strike, not wasting any time. We've seen a rotating roll out in right field. Dylan Waters getting the start in the beginning of the season, then Colby Dean, and now it's Brad Keith. So Keith with a big opportunity here for Salisbury, lets that pitch go outside, and it's now 2-1. Salisbury has been known to succeed with 2 outs, over half of their RBIs so far this year coming with 2 down. Keith slices that one into left field, but it'll fall just out of play. It was going to be well short of DiLoretto and just too deep for Kaveen and Schwartz, who were all converging into left field. But it just heads foul as the count moves to 2-2. Salisbury has seen their fair share of success with 2-out rallies. Out of 81 RBIs so far on the season, 41 of them coming with 2 outs. Also, team hitting .538 with a runner on third and 2 down. And Brad Keith drives that one into right field. It'll send Can well on the run, but it'll hit the warning track and off the wall. Palanchar will score, Dean will score, and they're going to send Barry. Barry heads into home. The slide, but unnecessary because he would have been well safe as the throw was off the mark. So a bases clearing double for Brad Keith. Keith really coming onto the scene here for this Salisbury team and been making a difference in these past 2 games. He was responsible for 2 of the hits back at Gwynedd Mercy, and so now he adds a double. 3 RBI double to this one, cracks this game open as Massis not able to get out of that jam. But now this lead moves to 5-0 in favor of Salisbury. Massis gets set to work against Ardoin, who grounds that right over to Kaveen, and an easy play. So Massis, just 1 pitch late, gets the ground ball that he needed. It's to Ardoin to end the inning, but not before the bases clearing double from Brad Keith bumps this game to a 5-0 lead for Salisbury. Austin Heenan will head back out to the mound in the top of the 5th to keep Salisbury rolling.
Ready, set, let's roll.
Pretty girl, you ain't done it again. You're gonna turn it sexy all the way up to 10. I never never seen a side ride seat looking so hot. Baby, you rock, hit the spot like a fireball shot. You got me all high, head spinning around and around. I'm down if you're down to burn down this town. Lady said, let's roll. Lady said, let's ride. Get your liquefied cell phone, step, shimmy up inside. You slide, girl, by my side, girl. Yeah, we can run this town. I can rock your world. We can roll them down, pop them up, cruise around, get stuck. Pedal to the metal till the sun comes up. I made a deal with the man on the moon. He's gonna put in some overtime. We got all night. Ready, set, let's roll. Ready, set, let's ride. Ready, set, let's go. Where the good years and good times meet. Girl, we can rev it up right till we overheat. Just forget about the time.
Leading off for the Diplomats, the second baseman, number 23, J.J. Freeman.
So it's J.J. Freeman to lead off this top half of the fifth against Austin Heenan. Heenan giving up 2 hits so far on the day, but no runs. Blanked this Diplomat side in 4 straight innings. Gets set to get back to work. So far, 2 strikeouts on the day. Gotten already 5 ground balls from this Franklin and Marshall side. As he gets started with that one, it'll be a ball. Moves to 1-0 here for Freeman. Freeman swinging on that pitch, the fastball on the inside part of the plate, but right off the handle and fouled back behind the plate as it moves to 1-1. Freeman reached back in the second via the walk. Now gets set for the 1-1. So that 1-1 pitch is going to be that breaking ball from Austin Heenan. Sits right there. Decker not even having to move the glove as it's right down the middle, and it'll move to 1-2. So the 1-2 from Heenan. It'll be the fastball right on that outside corner, and no swing there from Freeman as he sets him down. Austin Heenan, strikeout number 3 on the day, and it'll be looking for out number 1 in the top of the 5th. That's been one of the biggest differences so far on this year, is when Salisbury's able to get Heenan a lead, when he's able to get into that groove, not much to stop him. So far, he's been able to utilize all of his pitches so far today, as he goes right back to that looping curveball. Just comes right back. And that's so hard as a left-handed hitter to try and square up that curveball. Comes right back immediately with a fastball, but it's going to be a little up and in, and that'll move the count to 1-1. And that pitch, again, will also be called for a ball. So 2-1 here on the pinch hitter, Brian Meerholtz. So already some switches for this Diplomat squad, as Meerholtz getting the pinch hit for Pantel at the designated hitter spot. So Heenan brings the 2-1, and that one's up and in as well. That fastball not able to find the plate, and 3-1 here as Heenan behind in the count after able to get a strikeout to start off this inning. It's been one of the telltale signs in a lot of Austin Heenan starts, is getting behind in the count has happened more and more frequently later on in the game as fatigue has started to settle in, especially in chilly Salisbury. Still have yet to have a warm weather game so far this season.
All right, come on, roll him up here. Come on.
So that'll be another walk. Meerholtz will be able to reach first, so now 1 down. Runner on first, and that'll be for Max Schwartz, who steps to the plate. Schwartz leaves that one out for a ball. Schwartz still trying to get it going offensively. Just his 5th start so far this year, hitting 154. Trying to get that offense going for him. The young sophomore, the third baseman, trying to get going and try and contribute to this offense. A good position here as Franklin and Marshall still trying to scratch onto the board. But Austin Heenan able to bring that pitch now in for a strike as he moves it to 1-1. We see Heenan able to go back to that fastball when he needs to find his location. Gets that command back in check, and we see that off speed come in, and right there on the outside corner it is. Moves it to 1-2 now. So 1-2 count here to Max Schwartz. Austin Heenan setting him up for that breaking ball that he loves to throw when he's ahead in the count. Instead goes with the fastball, switches it up, and blows it right by him for strike number 3. And Schwartz gives a big swing, but not able to put any bat on the ball. That'll be strikeout number 4 so far on the day for Heenan. So now it'll be Danny Blugas. Blugas ground ball in his first at-bat. Ground out victim over to Scott Ardoin, who made the play easily to Perry. Now gets set to work with 2 down and a runner on. And a quick pickoff move there from Austin Heenan. Saw a little bit of a jump from Meerholtz over there at first. Just going to give him a throw to let him know that he's keeping an eye on him. So Heenan, the quick move that we've seen, that step off with the back foot. An almost underhanded throw from Heenan, not able to get him as Meerholtz keeping a good enough eye on him. Heenan been able to keep great eyes on runners so far throughout this year. Not a lot of runners stealing on him. As then goes right back to the plate, able to bring that fastball right in there to Blugas. That'll be strike 1. Big difficulty for runners on first base, figuring out that pickoff move from Austin Heenan. He's able to bring that deceptive move and also the quick move from the left-handed side. Keeps them on their toes out there as he brings that pitch in for ball 1. When you're trying to find a pitcher's rhythm out there on the base paths, it doesn't help when the guy on the mound has that ability to step off and make that quick throw. That pitch is going to get Blugas swinging well outside, but he's not able to hold back, and now it moves to 1-2. So Austin Heenan trying to put up the 5th straight goose egg for this Franklin and Marshall team in the top of the 5th. Meerholtz over on first, the 1-2 count coming to Blugas, and Blugas pops it up, but it'll be just out of play as it sails back behind the press box once again. So Blugas able to stay alive here. Blugas, another one of these hitters just under 300 on the year, as he cuts that one over to right field, but once again while out of play. So seeing a lot of pitches that Heenan is bringing, but able to stay alive and foul a lot of them off. One of the toughest things for these opposing hitters against Austin Heenan is trying to work back and forth with that guessing game, and Heenan brings a changeup to the outside part of the plate. Well timed though for Blugas as he's able to get the bat out there long enough. Get a little contact on that one as well and keeps it at 1-2. So 3 straight foul balls here from Blugas as Heenan will bring another 1-2 pitch. And Heenan does so. It's the fastball driven out to center field, but lined right to Colby Dean. And that'll end the top of the 5th. So Franklin and Marshall able to get a runner on a walk, but not able to do anything with it as they leave Meerholtz stranded over at first, and Austin Heenan keeps rolling. We move here into the bottom of the 5th. Salisbury still with a 5-0 lead here in the Seagull Baseball Stadium on the Seagull Sports Network.
Dry lightning cracks across the skies. Those storm clouds gather in her eyes. Your daddy was a mean old Miss the sins out of that house. There's not enough wind in Oklahoma to rip the nails out of the past. Shatter every window till it's all blown away. Every brick, every board, every slamming door blown away. Till there's nothing left standing, nothing left to yesterday. Every tear-soaked whiskey memory blown away.
So Coach Horning will send Andrew Masses back out for the bottom of the fifth. So far, 4 innings pitched for the right-hander, 7 hits and 5 runs after he's not able to escape the jam in that last inning. It was 2 down and bases loaded once again for Salisbury, but this time Brad Keith was able to break it open with that 3 RBI double. So now Masses gets set to go, and it's Jack Decker. That first curveball hit the outside corner for strike 1 as Masses able to get ahead early. Masses, another pitch towards that outside part of the plate, and called on again from home plate umpire Danny Hess. So now the 0-2 count quickly to Jack Decker. Decker almost swings. There's a good pitch sequence there from Andrew Masses. Masses brings 2 quick pitches outside and gets Decker thinking outside, and then that off-speed waste pitch well out, but Decker holds up. Now a fastball tagged into right field, and that'll be a base hit. Jack Decker a quick round to first base, but it'll head right on back. So just like that, another leadoff base hit for Salisbury as that one's sent over to right field from Jack Decker. Not what you want if you're Andrew Masses. 3 good pitches to start off that at-bat, and you almost had him swinging on that breaking ball in the dirt. But Decker able to hold up and then finds that fastball that's just not high enough and puts it over into opposite field. So Decker on the move, the hit and run in play. Perry battles it off, and luckily Freeman able to get back there and make the throw. Was just almost a perfectly executed hit and run as you could see where Perry was going with it. The steal from Jack Decker was looking to take Freeman over to the bag and leave a hole at second base, and Perry tries to take advantage of it, but the pitch is too far outside, and all he's able to do is put a slow chopper into that area. Freeman battles back, so the runner advances. Decker over in scoring position at second base now, and 1 down as Masses will go up against Simon Palanchar. And Palanchar, a ground ball, and Decker's going. Great play there as Decker will be out at third. Kaveen able to make the ground ball play, and Decker breaks the Cardinal rule at ground ball right to him. Instead of heading back to second, he goes right to third. Kaveen, the easy throw over there to Schwartz, and just like that, 2 down now as the runner is Palanchar over at first. So now Will Gutekunst steps to the plate. Gutekunst, another one of these Seagull players who really took advantage of an opportunity this past Sunday. Gutekunst and Keith, 2 guys who were put into the lineup, stepping up for some guys who had been struggling at the plate. It's that quick pitch there from Masses. Gutekunst's going to have a word with Danny Hess behind the plate. It didn't look to be a stop there from Masses, but a ball nonetheless. Gutekunst was the offense last game, responsible for the 2 runs after that 2 RBI triple in that first start of the year for the junior infielder. Hitting .429 now on the year. Gets another chance to keep it going today, but pops that one up straight back as it moves the count even to 1-1. So Blugas will head out to the mound and have a word with Masses, try and get on the same page. A big inning here. Each inning is big, really, for this Franklin and Marshall side. As many innings as Masses can keep going and stave off this Salisbury offense. Avoiding the decision from Coach Horning to go to the bullpen would help keep some relievers off. That curveball left well high, and Gutekunst leaves it, so now it's 2-1. Can be one of the trials for starting pitchers when you run into a little bit of trouble, give up a handful of runs. What's your ability like to keep it going? Gutekunst drives that one into right field, similar to that hit on Sunday, and it's going to bounce down. And it looks like Coach Brohan's going to send Palanchar. The throw in is not towards home plate, so just like that, the RBI double from Will Gutekunst as that ball was crushed into right field down the line. Can not able to get to it in the throw in to second base. So an RBI double for the hot Will Gutekunst at the plate. And another 2-out rally for this Salisbury team as the lead now moves to 6-0. It's just a tale of back and forth this season, ladies and gentlemen. Salisbury, so many times have they seen with runners on, 2 outs, and they leave runners on and waste some opportunities, and then a handful of opportunities the opposite way when it seems like the pitcher's got the upper hand with 2 outs. Able to gain a little bit of momentum with runners on. Salisbury able to put a hit just where they need it to get a run across, and that's what Gutekunst does right there. So now Colby Dean gets to work, down 0-1 after fouling off that first pitch with a runner on second in Will Gutekunst. That second pitch of the at-bat well outside, and Dean lets it go as now it's 1-1. We've seen a comeback to reality from Colby Dean after he was absolutely unstoppable early on this season. Drives that one, but well up, and that's heading back towards the fence. Can gives chase. That one might be over, and it is. Colby Dean, a 2-run home run, get out of here ball. Salisbury keeps it rolling offensively, and now they're up 8-0 as that ball, Colby Dean sits on it, drives it into right field. Great pitch to pull low and in for the lefty, and that's exactly what he does with it. So now Salisbury working in business. It's a 7-0 lead here for the Seagulls. And just when Andrew Massis thought he was going to be able to get out of that inning, now he's given up. Now he's given up 3 runs so far in this inning. It is 8-0. So now Brad Haas gets set to work and potentially keep something going here for this Salisbury team. Working at the bottom of this lineup, trying to turn something over to Jack Berry on deck. So Haas works with a 1-1 count to Massis. Massis leaves that pitch well outside. Massis started this inning with 62 pitches. Has been forced to throw plenty of them so far here in the bottom of the 5th as Salisbury really exploding in these past 2 innings and taking advantage of those opportunities. That's been the story this season, and that's what you want to see from this Seagull side. That ball golfed over to Freeman, and Freeman able to make the play. So the Diplomats head back in and try and start to cut down in this lead. Austin Heenan just given a lot more padding out on the mound from the Gutekunst RBI double. And then the 2-run home run from Colby Dean moves this game to 8-0. Stay with us here in Salisbury as Austin Heenan heads back out to the mound for the bottom of the 6th.
Crank back 3 times from left to right. Soldier boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that soldier boy? That Superman? That now why me you crank that soldier? 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 Now what? Soldier boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that soldier boy? That Superman? That now why me you crank that soldier? 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 Now what? Soldier boy, up in it. Why me lean that? Why me rock? Superman? That yeah, why me crank that Robocop? Super friend, now why me jocking on them, hate them, man. When I do that, soldier boy, I lean to the left, then crank that thing now. I'm jocking on you, and if we get the fight, then I'm coming, You catch me at your local party, yes, I crank it every day. Haters get mad, cause I got me some bathing, Nate. Soldier boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me boy, that Superman. Now I mean you crank that soul. 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 Now what? Soldier boy, I been it. Why me crank it? Why me roll? Why me crank that soul?
61 pitches, 41 strikes thrown for the senior left-hander in Austin Heenan as he gets set back to work here in the top of the 6th. Only 2 hits allowed so far today. Had a couple early moments back in the 2nd and back in the 4th where Franklin and Marshall looked to be right on the doorstep of potentially getting something across, but the defense able to step up for Salisbury, so the combination of the two working well here on this Tuesday afternoon. Austin Heenan starts Kawahara off with a strike. That fastball going to be in there, moves to 0-1. Kawahara still looking to collect his first hit of the day. One of the guys that Coach Horning has looked to so far this year to keep the offense going. Coming into today hitting .360, but not having any success off of Austin Heenan. That lefty-lefty matchup not working out. So now it's a 1-2 count for Austin Heenan.
Finish it up here. Don't waste it.
And that ball swung on well early from Kawahara. Just that inside fastball, and he's well ahead as that's well fouled down the first base line. A little bit of action over in the Franklin and Marshall bullpen as you have to think you might see a relief appearance coming in, and just like that, a fastball up. Kawahara not able to lay off of it, and that fastball gets Austin Heenan another strikeout. It's strikeout number 5 so far on the day. So that'll be out number 1 as Justin Kaveen steps to the plate and looks to reach base in 2 straight appearances. The strikeout victim and then the single back in the 4th. One of the only 2 hits here for the Diplomats today. First pitch swinging, fouls it off towards the netting. The pitching has been a strong point for Salisbury so far this year. Austin Heenan been one of the guys as he brings a changeup right to the outside corner, and that dives down just enough. Kaveen looks at it, gives it a swing, but no chance for contact. Starters for Salisbury so far on the season, a 2.98 ERA in comparison to the 3.25 for the entire team. Aside from a couple tough starts, and that ball's driven out to right center, but Colby Dean over, tracks it well, and on the run makes the grab for out number 2. So Austin Heenan keeps rolling, the first 2 up, first 2 down. Aside from a couple rough starts so far this year from Salisbury starters, starting pitching has been able to step up and do the job well for this Coach Brohan team. It's been referenced many times this season. The big question coming into this year, how are they going to replace that big 3? And Austin Heenan has been one of the guys who has been so formidable in replacing those big 3. Heenan, one of the guys. Reeves as well. Connor Reeves gotten a handful of starts as well. Wes Whitlock and Jack Berry as well. So Heenan gets to work now with a 1-1 count. And he's working against Kelsey Lawney. So Lawney now
Come on, get out of this, right here. Come on.
with a 1-2 count behind.
No, I mean, get out of it. Come on.
Kelsey Lawney coming into today hitting .333. His 11th game played, only started in 7 for the Diplomats this year. Swings on that one, and that'll be strikeout number 6 for Austin Heenan. He walks off, and A lot of swagger there for Austin Heenan as he gets another strikeout, ends the inning, and continues that scoreless streak. The Diplomats not able to get any runners on in that top half of the sixth, and Salisbury preserves that 8-0 lead. They'll get back to work as we'll have a relief appearance here for Franklin and Marshall, and they'll get going to try and quell this Salisbury offense that's trying to get rolling. Stay with us here on the Seagull Sports Network.
Now taking the mound for the Diplomats, number 37, Bobby Gaston. Leading off for the Seagulls, the third baseman, number 22, Jack Barry.
So it'll be the senior Bobby Gaston getting the nod here in the top half of the bottom half of the sixth against Jack Barry. Brings that first pitch in for a strike. Gaston only 2 2/3 so far on the year. All relief appearances. His third of the season. He's got a 13.5 ERA on the year. So looking to move those numbers down against a Salisbury offense that has been feeling it so far this afternoon. Goes up ahead 0-2 early, but that pitch well in the turf. But no swing, no chase there from Jack Barry. Opponents hitting .438 so far this year against Gaston, but you wouldn't look there as he gets the strikeout there from Jack Barry. And that's how you want to start if you're a reliever coming in. Gaston gets his fifth strikeout on the year and gets to work early against a Salisbury team that put 3 up in consecutive innings. These relievers for Franklin and Marshall looking to keep this game close any way they can. And Gaston coming in and being very efficient with first pitch strikes as he brings another one to Brad Keith. And that 0-1 from Gaston going to be well outside. Keith not going to swing and lets that one go. Keith swings that one, pulls it over to first base, but bobbled. No one on the bag, but it won't matter as the bobble ruins the play, and no chance there as the base hit there from Brad Keith looked to be bobbled, so it's going to be ruled an error there. So that's an error on Matthew Can. Can made the move over to first base and not able to corral that one. And that ball driven out into right center from Scott Ardoin, and Ardoin's going to be on the run as the outfielders give chase. Brad Keith going to leg this one out, and he's going to round third and score easily as Ardoin, the RBI double. And just when Gaston heads to the mound and looks to be very efficient against this Salisbury side, Scott Ardoin comes up to the plate and makes him pay for a fastball left right at the letters.
Now batting the catcher, number 25, Jack Decker.
So now it is 9-0 here in Salisbury. This Seagull offense really coming alive. And that'll give way to Jack Decker with one down and a runner on second. Only one out here for Bobby Gaston. And it's 1-0 to Decker. Decker, a base hit back in the second, started the rally that scored the first 2 runs as he drives that one into right center as well. Kawahara is going to give chase, but he's not going to get to it either as that one bounces over. A ground rule double for Jack Decker, and he'll just switch places there with Scott Ardoin as Ardoin crosses the plate. And it's double digits now for the Seagulls as they're up 10-0 here. 2 straight doubles into right center, and Gaston now struggling to get anything over the plate that's not going to be hit. That's one of the things coming into today that has plagued Gaston. I mentioned earlier, 438 average for opponents against Bobby Gaston, coming in just 2 2/3 innings of work. So he brings that fastball right down the plate, and Perry's going to let that one go to move 0-1. Perry, a single and a run scored back in the second. We saw grounded into a double play and ended that bases loaded jam in the third for Massis. So now Gaston moves to 1-1 after that pitch. One's on the board, 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out for Jay Perry. Perry gets behind that one, but gets well under it as he pops it up. Kaveen looks to be under it, and he is. Makes the grab and gets out number 2. So Gaston now trying to escape damage and trying to hold off the bullpen as well, as there's a little bit of action over there for the Diplomats. That's the junior Eric Dyke out there in the bullpen for this Franklin and Marshall side. So it's Simon Palanchar now who will face Gaston. Lets that pitch go outside for ball number 1. Palanchar 2 for 2 on the day. A couple of base hits. We saw the base hit back in the second via the bunt. And then the base hit earlier in the fourth as well to start off that inning. So now it's 1-1 here for Simon Palanchar. Gaston looking to close out this inning, and Salisbury looking to go on another 2-out rally as a kick and a turn over to Jack Decker at second. As Gaston has Blugas run through the signs one more time. He looks, sees what he wants, kicks and deals. Palanchar just a lethargic swing out there on the pitch on the outside corner and makes contact, but hangs up just enough for Kawahara to run in. So a runner left on for Salisbury, but still able to get 2 in. So the runs continue to add up for Salisbury as this moves to a 10-0 lead. Stay with us moving into the top half of the 7th as Franklin and Marshall gets back to work against Austin Heenan.
I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind. Not a yes sir, not a follower. Fit the box, fit the mold, have a seat in the foyer. Take a number. I was lightning before the thunder.
Thunder, 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 thunder,
thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, thunder. Kids were laughing in my classes while I was scheming for the masses. Who do you think you are? Dreaming about being a big star. They say you're basic, they say you're easy. You're always riding in the backseat. Now I'm smiling from the stage while you were clapping in the nosebleeds.
thunder, 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 thunder,
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder.
So after some technical difficulties, we're back here on the Seagull Sports Network. A double there from the Franklin and Marshall side. It'll be Austin Heenan now with a runner on and one down. So Heenan brings that first pitch to Freeman outside, but it'll move to 2-0 now.
Let's go, 3-4. 2-0.
So the 2-0 from Heenan. And another pitch outside and low moves to 3-0. A little bit of frustration there from Heenan as he gets the ball back from Decker.
Come on, Heenan. Come back.
So the 3-0 to Freeman. Freeman lets it go, but it's going to hit the outside corner as it moves to a 3-1 now. Franklin and Marshall still trying to get their first runner across. The third hit coming via the double. So a runner on second here for Freeman as a 3-1 pitch comes. Hit over to Gutekunst, who's playing deep into second base, but makes the throw. And so now 2 down. Better situation here from Heenan, but the runner does advance over to third base. So it's DiLoretto over at third base. Now it's Brian Meerholtz stepping to the plate. So 2 down here for Meerholtz, runner on third. He takes that first pitch in for a strike. Heenan looking to try and get out of this inning. Keep Franklin and Marshall off the board and also keep his game going. Decker sets up inside, and the fastball comes in, but just a little up as almost chin music there from Meerholtz has to get out of the way, and it's 1-1. A little bit of action out in the Salisbury bullpen. But Austin Heenan will try and keep rolling as he's been stellar throughout this one in the first 6 2/3. So that ball just fouled off, but it's well foul, and now moves to a 1-2 count here for Austin Heenan versus Brian Meerholtz. Meerholtz so far this year hitting .400, but that's not going to matter there. Set down looking. Austin Heenan gets strikeout number 7 on today. He'll walk off and end that top half of the 7th. So it's stretch time here in Salisbury as we move to the bottom of the 7th. Seagulls still up 10-0 as the Diplomats strand a runner on third. Stay with us here on the Seagull Sports Network. We'll bring you the bottom half of the 7th soon.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Touching hands.
Now taking the mound for the Diplomats, number 25, Eric Dyke.
Touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined to believe there never was, but now I look at the night fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, burden runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you? Warm, touching warm.
So Bobby Gaston's day is over. Just one inning pitch, gives up the 2 runs off of 2 hits. Back in the bottom half of the 6th, and it'll be another reliever here for this Franklin and Marshall team. The junior right-hander Eric Dyke. Dyke so far in the year, a 7.71 ERA, 4 2/3 innings pitched. This will be his 5th relief appearance. Strictly a reliever for this Franklin and Marshall team. Has an 0-1 record, got a tough luck loss earlier in the season. So far, opponents not having a lot of success off of Eric Dyke. Dyke so far only allowing opponents to hit .222 off of him. So he's getting set to face Will Gutekunst. Brings that second pitch in there for a strike, so the count is now 1-1. So the 1-1 now to Will Gutekunst. And he sees that looping curveball come in, sits back enough, but fouls it off towards that first base side. And now it moves to 1-2. You see Dyke, a bit of a different look from the previous 2 from Massis, and Gaston brings that over-the-top curveball. It's going to drop from 12-6 and combines that with that over-the-top fastball right down the heart of the plate. So Gutekunst has seen it now. Looks set for the 1-2 and another one of those curveballs, but leaves it well up. And Gutekunst will move to 2-2 now at the count. Salisbury looking to get the leadoff runner on base for the 6th time today. That ball's lined into center field, but not shallow enough. Right to Kawahara. Was able to take a couple jogs in and makes the easy catch on that one. So Gutekunst out via the liner to center field. Dyke able to get working early for out number 1, and he'll go up against Colby Dean now. The Salisbury offense so far today has been able to turn the tides from what they've seen in their past games, taking advantage of a Franklin and Marshall team that's below 500 and trying to get rolling this season. A pitching staff that all around has had some struggles aside from a couple standout guys. Got some standout guys in that rotation. Jack Buckley, one of the guys had not seen him today. One of their go-to starters, a 9.2 ERA so far on the year and a 3-0 record for the Diplomats, but was not on the mound to start this one. After Buckley and a handful of relievers with a 0 ERA and a couple other starters, Jonathan Cole and then a reliever, Danny Blugas, who we saw behind the plate, it goes downhill a little bit for the Diplomats in terms of the bullpen. And that's what we've seen Salisbury jump on. Is the opposite what they were not able to do against Gwinnett Mercy back on Sunday. Went up against R.J. Boyle, who was sporting a 7.91 ERA coming into the game, but all but shut out Salisbury in those innings. So no swing there from Colby Dean as the count moves to 2-2. Salisbury's able to turn those fortunes around. Luckily facing majority right-handed pitchers, that's what they've seen more of their success on. Coming into today hitting .284 on right-handers, and that's all they've seen so far. So another 2-2 there, and Dean fouls that one off. So 2-2 is going to come once again from Dyke. So it's 2-2 to Colby Dean, 1 down here in the bottom of the 7th. Salisbury still up 10-0 if you're just joining us here. Dean watches that curveball sink in and drives it over to first base, but an easy play for Morano, and 2 outs now for Eric Dyke. And it'll be a pinch hitter here for this Salisbury side. It'll be Jake Terry. Terry, the senior, gonna get the pinch hit for Brad Haas, who's had a rough day at the plate. 0 for 3 on the day. And Terry gonna let that one sail above his head as Dyke lets that curveball slip out of his hands, go well above. Terry, we've seen a lot of opportunities off the bench here for him so far this season. Handful of late game substitutions, late game pinch hits, and another one here for Brad Haas as he takes another one inside. Haas got the start in left field. We've seen kind of an open door out in left field, switching back and forth. Canavan got the start earlier on this season, struggled at the plate and gave way to Haas, who was swinging a hot bat in his first 3 games and then ran into his struggles of his own and gave way to Canavan once again. And in that last game, Canavan pulled early on and then shows up today in a boot. So the injury to Canavan gives way to Haas, who will start into a regular starting role until Canavan can come back, as Terry fans on that 2-2. So now Deuce is wild. 2-2 count with 2 outs here as Jake Terry tries to keep the inning going and tries to keep this scoring streak for Salisbury. Scored runs in the past 3 innings. Leaves that pitch, another looping breaking ball, but it goes well outside. Now a full count here. If you're Dyke, working with a full count somewhat dangerously here, as Terry's going to try and reach base, and you allow Terry to reach base, and now all of a sudden you've got to deal with the top half of this lineup and Jack Berry. And Terry does just that, sends it right back up the middle on the 3-2, and he'll reach, get to first base. Just Terry's 2nd hit so far in this year in 9 at-bats, so able to reach base, does his job in the pinch hit appearance. That's what you want to see from Coach Brohan, when Coach Brohan is going to give these young guys, not just young guys, but also some of these more inexperienced guys, some of the guys off the bench. He wants to see you take advantage of opportunities, and Jake Terry doing just that with a base hit up the middle. So now it's Jack Berry. Berry lets that pitch go inside. Berry, one of the last guys you want to face when struggling with command. We've seen Dyke go full count in the past 2 batters now. And Berry swinging on that 1-0 pitch, but fouls it back, and the throw from the home plate umpire, Danny Hess, goes right to the dirt, back to Dyke as he gives a playful point right back to him. So Dyke gets set to work with the 1-1. Jack Berry sits and waits. Jake Terry taking his lead over at first base. The kick and the delivery comes, and it's that breaking ball once again, but it'll be well low and in the turf, and Jack Berry not going to swing. So now the count moves to 2-1. Still some more action in the Franklin and Marshall bullpen. Just a couple guys getting loose. So nothing serious yet. Jack Berry awaits the 2-1 pitch now, and he drives that one to center field. Kawahara is going to give chase straight back, but not able to get to it as that's to the warning track. Jake Terry will cruise into home, as looks like that one did bounce over the fence. So Jack Berry with a ground rule double play. They'll send Jake Terry all the way back to third. So now runners on second and third after Jack Berry gets the ground rule double.
Now batting the right fielder, number 17, Brad Keith.
And once again, as we've seen throughout this game, these 2-out rallies really plaguing Franklin and Marshall and the pitchers. We saw a handful of them for Massis to start off this game. Saw one as well for Gaston in the last inning, and now once again, another reliever, Eric Dyke, gets 2 outs and nobody on. Looks like he's going to put up a goose egg finally for Salisbury, first time since the third, and now they've got runners on second and third for Brad Keith. First pitch to Keith is going to be outside for ball 1. Keith still swinging a hot bat today. We saw the double earlier on, the RBI double that scored Barry. And a lot of room out there in right center for Brad Keith. But knowingly enough is Eric Dyke as he brings the pitch outside. You can see Dyke on the same page there with Connor Green behind the plate, and they're trying to set up outside and force Brad Keith to go oppo. Keith awaits that pitch, but it's that curveball once again, and the same exact spot as it bounces right into the batter's box for left-handed hitters, that time inside for Brad Keith. So the count moves to 2-1 here for Keith. Keith trying to keep this one going. Trying to add to that RBI count as a big swing there, but it fouls off right back to Green, and now it moves to 2-2. Salisbury has scored multiple runs in the past 3 innings. 3 straight innings of at least 2 runs, 2 in the 6th, 3 in the 5th, and 3 back in the 4th. As Franklin and Marshall has struggled to keep them quiet. Brad Keith now working on a 2-2 with 2 down. Lazily chops that one right up the middle, might beat it out, and he does. So that'll score a run as the ground ball infield single there for Brad Keith was going to be a tough play either way, as that off-speed pitch, that looping breaking ball from Dyke just kind of caught him off guard, but he tosses the bat out there and it's able to roll just past Dyke, and it's too slow of a play there over towards second base for Justin Caveen as he tries to rush it and loses it out of the glove, but odds are Brad Keith would have been safe either way as he was hauling down the first base line. So now it's Scott Ardoin, takes that first pitch 1-0, and we've got a runner on first and third here. Jack Berry still over at third. Still 2 outs here for Franklin and Marshall, trying to get out of it. But Salisbury does get another run across, and it's 11-0 here. It's now the fatigue possibly starting to show for the right-hander. That pitch well above Ardoin's head, and it'll be 2-0. Today, one of the few games where Salisbury has done a good job of using that momentum that they've created and feeding off of each other, and we've seen a lot more energy out of the dugout, a lot more to cheer about today as the Bats have been able to just keep going and keep going. So Eric Dyke gets set to bring the 2-1. And it's that curveball once again. Grounded over to third and looked to be an easy play, but the bad throw from Jimmy Whelan. And so Ardoin will make it to first safely. So the error over there on the throw from Jimmy Whelan, as just this snowball effect keeps going on for this Franklin and Marshall side. So Ardoin reaches, Jack Berry scores, and it's 12-0 now here for Salisbury as Coach Horning's going to take the slow trot out to the mound and talk to Eric Dyke. Appears to be the end of his day as Jake Amarello could be the guy coming out from the pen. 15 hits on the day for Salisbury, 12 runs. And that will be the end of Eric Dyke's day. A quick 2 outs to start the inning, but Salisbury battles back with a 2-out rally, starting with Jake Terry reaching base via the single. And that'll be all. So we'll take a quick break here on the Seagull Sports Network as we give way to another reliever here for Franklin and Marshall, trying to close out this inning. Stay with us.
Number 33, Jake Amarillo.
What you wanna do, baby? Where you wanna go? I'll take you to the moon, baby. I'll take you to the floor. I treat you like a real lady, no matter where you go. Just give me some time, baby. Cause you know, even when we're apart, I know my heart is still there with you. 5 more hours till the night is ours, and I'm back with you. This right here is my type of party. 5 more hours, we just getting started. This right here is my type of party. 5 more hours, we just getting started.
5 more hours, we're just getting started.
Pinch hitting for the Seagulls, number 4, Tyler Mayo.
How you wanna feel, baby?
So switches keep happening as the pinch hit for Salisbury. It'll be Tyler Mayo stepping in for another plate appearance on the day, and he'll face the reliever, Jake Amarillo. Amarillo gets another appearance after only 1 inning pitch. The left-hander coming in for this Franklin and Marshall squad brings a first strike to Tyler Mayo. Amarillo, a 27 ERA. He's given up 3 runs in that 1 inning of work. His 3rd appearance on the year. Mayo swinging on that second pitch, and it's now 0-2. As for Tyler Mayo, still looking for his first hit this season. Saw Padaway win the starting job behind the plate. Mayo brings a lot defensively behind the plate, but has struggled offensively in the few appearances that he's gotten. So he's 0-5 so far on the year. So Amarillo looks to put that one right on the outside part of the plate, and that's exactly where Connor Green was set up. But he was set up well out, hoping for a swing there from Mayo. But it's just too far outside as it moves to 1-2. Mayo looking to not strand 2. Runners on first and second with a 1-2 pitch coming. Lets that one go, and that one's going to hit him. But he's going to keep him exactly there, and probably a good call there from the home plate umpire, Danny Hess. As I mentioned earlier, that's a difficult rule that we've seen come into baseball here, is that rule where it's up to the umpire's discretion. Hit by a pitch is not always a hit by a pitch. Has to be some sort of attempt from the batter to get out of the way. Saw a controversial call of it back on Sunday, but this one, not really any movement from Tyler Mayo, so he's staying in the box, and it's just a ball. But Amarillo brings another fastball towards the outside part of the plate, and it's ball 3, so just like that, Amarillo comes in, gets up early 0-2. Tyler Mayo battles back to make it a full count. So it's Scott Arduin over at first, Brad Keith at second, 2 down and full count comes. Mayo lines that back up the middle, and that'll be his first hit of the season. Brad Keith will come in to score. Arduin will stay put over at second base. And Tyler Mayo, first hit of the season, an RBI single, moves Arduin over to second, and Salisbury pushes that lead to 13. And that's the hit that Tyler Mayo's been looking for this year. Mentioned 0-5 on the year, now 1-6. Able to get that hit, and really a good at-bat there from Mayo as Amarillo still trying to establish himself, coming out his first batter out of the pen. Goes up early 0-2, but those chase pitches when he's ahead in the count, really not close enough. Mayo makes him pay on the full count pitch when he's looking to get a strike across. So now the lefty faces the pinch hitting Nate Yoder. He'll face another lefty. The lefty-lefty matchup. Nate Yoder, the freshman, 1-4 so far on the year. Just a few pinch hit appearances so far this season. Another one as he fouls that one off his foot and goes down. Never a good feeling for hitters. Sometimes just try and walk that one off, and that one can sting more often than not. Green will do a good job on Salisbury's part and head out to the mound and give Yoder a second to walk it off. So now a lot of action over in the Franklin and Marshall bullpen. Jason Winehouse, one of the guys out there, throwing and getting loose. But it's Jake Amarillo's inning as he moves the 1-1 pitch and sends it in. Tries to keep working on that outside part of the plate, but not getting the calls as that one's outside for 2-1. So now the 2-1 count here to Yoder. Runners on first and second, still 2 down. No swing there as that's up and in. Lets it go, and it's now 3-1. Franklin and Marshall, not a team with a lot of left-handed pitching in their arsenal. Luckily for this Salisbury side, as they're only hitting .238 against lefties. So Amarillo comes back, brings a strike, and it's now full count. Runners looking to be on the move here, and Yoder trying to put something into play. Full count and 2 outs here as the pitch comes in, and a half-hearted check swing, and pulls it back, but not in time as he fouls it off, so he stays alive. And it's another rendition of the full count here coming. Opponents hitting .625 so far this year against Amarillo. Mentioned earlier, it's a short sample size, but that pitch again brought in inside, and another check swing from Yoder gets just enough, and we'll do it all over again. Third time's the charm coming for Nate Yoder. So it's the bottom of the 7th here. Salisbury has put up another 3 spot and advanced this lead to 13. Yoder gets ready for the 3-2, and it's called. That outside pitch, Amarillo finally gets it, gets Nate Yoder looking. No swing on that outside corner, but not before Salisbury keeps to push this lead. It's now 13-0 here in the Seagull Baseball Stadium, and we'll get working as Austin Heenan's day is done, and we'll have a reliever out on the mound to get working to close this game out for Salisbury. Stay with us as we move into the top of the 8th here on the Seagull Sports Network.
I ain't heard you laugh like that in a long time. I wonder if it stopped this world like it did mine just now. I see you sipping white wine instead of whiskey. But does he want you to be just a little more city? Well, I'm sorry if I'm overstepping boundaries I don't mean to be, but I just got to tell you how I feel. If he ever singles you up, if he's ever stupid enough, I'm gonna be the first one calling you baby. If he ain't holding you tight, if he ain't treating you right, I'm gonna be the first one calling him crazy. Cause girl, it's just a matter of time until you find that the right guy staring you back into your eyes right now. No rush, but if he ever singles you up, he hasn't even looked your way since you walked in. But I can't help it that I can't take my eyes off of you. Your favorite song just came on and me and you were singing along, and he don't even know a single word. If he ever singles you up, if he's ever stupid enough, I'm gonna be the first one calling you baby. If he ain't holding you tight, if he ain't treating you right, I'm gonna be the first one calling him crazy. Cause girl, it's just a matter of time
Thanks for sticking with us, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Seagull Sports Network. Once again, I'm Chase Gorski, bringing you this Tuesday afternoon evening matchup. Salisbury still up 13-0 as we've got some mass substitutions. Stick with me as I try and work through this. It's Andrew Rosso now on the mound, the freshman for Salisbury. That pitch driven into right field before I can get to any defensive substitutions. So Rosso comes in his first collegiate appearance, getting a little bit of work, the freshman out of Bel Air, Maryland. Right-hander gives up an early hit to Jimmy Whelan. So Whelan on with a first pitch single. And now it's Connor Green at the plate working with Rosso. So that first pitch going to be inside from Rosso for a ball. So the switches, we've got Yoder heading out to first. Jimmy Adkins will replace Gutekunst at second, and Ron Vallone replacing Barry at third. Rosso brings the 1-0, and it's going to be low to Tyler Mayo, who will stay at his spot and take over for Jack Decker behind the plate. So it's 2-0 now, and the last couple switches are out in center field, Jake Terry. And then in left field, that 2-0 pitch is going to be in there for a strike just on the inside corner from Rosso, so now it starts to come back. But the left field replacement for Brad Haas is going to be Joe Doherty. So now Rosso keeps working. That curveball is going to be popped up to Terry out in center field. Backpedals a little bit under it. Makes the catch for out number one. So Andrew Rosso's got his first collegiate out there with a pop fly out to center field and tries to get working. Valuable innings for the young righty. In talking to Coach Brohan before this season began, he talked about that glaring problem that the pitching staff has. It's a lot of guys with not much real game experience. This right here is time for Andrew Rosso. Gets a ground ball over to second, to short. So Rosso gets the ground ball over to Cullen McAuliffe. It's another substitution over in short who takes over for Ardoin. So McAuliffe keeps the ball in front of him, makes the flip to Adkins, but the throw to first too late. So ground ball gets one down. Now a runner on first still, but 2 outs here for Rosso. Rosso will get set to work against Andrew Poyer. Poyer, the sophomore infielder for this Franklin and Marshall team, looking to keep it going here in the 8th inning. The 0-1 pitch from Rosso, not able to get enough of a swing, that off-speed pitch towards the outside, and that'll be ball one, moves to 1-1. So now Rosso comes set for the 1-1. Brings that pitch in there, but it's another breaking ball towards the turf, and Mayo keeps it in front of him as it moves to 2-1.
All right, 14, you got it.
Rosso, the freshman from Calvert Hall, coming into this Seagull team, trying to make an impact out of the bullpen. Brings that pitch in and gets it for a strike to move that to 2-2. Tries to preserve this great game from Austin Heenan. Heenan went 7 scoreless innings, only allowing 3 hits against this Franklin and Marshall team. Rosso brings that 2-2, and it's fouled off by Poyer, and a little upset with himself as he wants that one back. A bit of an earlier swing, and he might have been able to do something with that one. So now Rosso working with another 2-2, still 2 down. And another curveball, and Andrew Rosso, first strikeout of his collegiate career, gets it to end the 8th inning, so he heads off. A couple hugs from Austin Heenan, who's pumped up, trying to get Salisbury through this game. They're up 13-0 headed into the bottom of the 8th. Let's see if the offense can keep it rolling here on the Seagull Sports Network.
You rock home. I'm tripping with alchemy. Shiver, slap, shivering. The glitter's all wet. You rock home. The man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out. Oh no. The man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out, the girls cried out, the man cried out. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no,
Pinch hitting for the Seagulls, number 16, Troy Miller.
And as you just heard our lovely PA announcer Adam Krigo allude to, it's a pinch hit here for this Seagull team as Troy Miller steps to the plate and he'll face off against Amarillo, who will get set to work here in the bottom of the 8th. Closed out that bottom of the 7th and now is going to keep working here to get Franklin and Marshall through this bottom half of the 8th and into their what looks to be the last of their at-bats in the top of the 9th. Now moves to a 1-1 count here against Troy Miller. Miller we saw get the start on Sunday against Gwinnett Mercy. Saw Jack Barry on the mound, so Miller got the go-ahead at third. 0-3 with one strikeout as Troy Miller still another guy that's trying to collect some quality at-bats. Only 1 for 13 so far this season. So now the 2-1 coming from Amarillo. Miller swings on that one but pops it up. That's going to be into shallow right field. But the catch there, easy to be made over there from Freeman as he has to hustle back. Deep play out there and right from Meerholtz, but an easy grab there. So Freeman makes the play, and that's out number 1 of this inning. So now it's the freshman Jimmy Adkins coming to the plate. Saw Adkins replace Gutekunst in the field, and now will get his first swings of today. Adkins has had a couple games off from Coach Brohan. The young second baseman struggling to find that swing early on this season. Now moves this count to 1-1. Adkins hitting 170s. 0 for his last 15 at the plate. While he wasn't able to string a lot of base hits together early on in the year, still saw some production as he had 8 RBIs, 5 runs scored. But the production started to wane, and now Coach Brohan giving him a break as that ball's called for a strike. Adkins doesn't like it as it's a little inside, but 2-2 nonetheless from Amarillo. Adkins stepping into that second base role. He steps out and calls time. Tries to keep it at his own pace, but Adkins stepping into that second base role as we saw the exit from Pete Grasso. Adkins fouls that one off himself, and it's going to take a second. But the young freshman tasked with filling some big shoes, the last year's D3 baseball player of the year, and Pete Grasso, the star two-way player for this Coach Brohan squad. When he wasn't at second base, he was on the mound. A big impact for this Salisbury team is trying to replace that, and Adkins got the start early on in the year. But the young freshman, as I mentioned, still trying to find that swing. Still trying to get that offense going, much like a lot of the other Salisbury hitters so far on this year. It looks like Adkins won't continue his at-bat after that one fouls off himself, and he's going to have to call it a day. So not what you want to see for Salisbury and for Coach Brohan, as another pinch hitter will come in. It'll be Chris Huck. Chris Huck listed as a pitcher on this Salisbury team, a transfer from a JUCO team, one of the handful of transfers that Coach Brohan has on this squad, but first appearance at all this season for Chris Huck. And Huck will come in and hack immediately at a pitch up and in, and that'll be it. On the 2-2 count, takes a massive cut on an up and in pitch, and that's all she wrote for Chris Huck as he gets the tough luck strikeout there, and now gives way to Joe Doherty. Doherty, another young guy on this Salisbury team, the freshman outfielder, still looking for his first hit on the season. First appeared back in that game against Washington College. He looks to might have it as it looks like it's in the hole. A dive over there at shortstop, but no play. And there it is. The first hit of his collegiate career there as he now moves to 1-4 on the season. Joe Doherty's in with an infield single.
36, Jake Terry.
Tough play there as you could see Poyer hustling over to try and make that one in the slide, but Joe Doherty with some quick legs over there, and no throw needed as he's in safely. So Amarillo still trying to close this inning out. Would be the first inning since all the way back in the third that Salisbury did not place a runner. But still within striking distance here as Jake Terry up at the plate with a 2-0 count now. Amarillo still trying to find that command. Doherty over at first. So the pitch from Amarillo driven towards that left side. Down the line, a quick throw, and not able to get him as that dribbles past Can over at first base, and Doherty advances 2/3. So not what you want for Franklin and Marshall. Amarillo gets that much-needed ground ball, but that's a tough play over for Whelan. Whelan tries to make the play right at the line, bobbles it a little, and then makes the throw, and it's just past Can over at first base. So Terry reaches. Now on first base, it's Doherty who runs over to third, and now it'll be Ron Vallone. Vallone, the junior, hitting .296 on the year. He's been used in a bit of a super utility role. We saw that last season. He's come in some pinch hit appearances, come in some defensive substitution appearances, and he's had a handful of starts on the year. So moves the count to 2-0, and now Amarillo in a tough spot here. Between a rock and a hard place as he tries to get out of this one. 2 down still, runner on first and third, trying to keep Salisbury off the board, and it moves to 2-1 as he's able to find the zone on that one. Vallone so far this season got a couple starts in place of Adkins over at second base as well as he turns away from that one. Leaves it up and in for 3-1. So Vallone looks at the 3-1, lets it go, and it moves to full count. So now Amarillo with another opportunity, 1 strike away from getting out of it here in the bottom of the 8th. No Seagull runners have scored, but Joe Doherty 90 feet away. 3-2, 2 down, and the pitch is going to be well up, so Vallone will take first. So Amarillo not able to find that always elusive third out here in the bottom of the 9th as Franklin and Marshall just trying to stop the bleeding. Salisbury in the past 4 innings have put up 3 runs 3 times and then 2 runs back in the 6th. Have not been held off the board since the 3rd inning. And now it's Brad Keith. Another opportunity with bases loaded. And Amarillo once again a first pitch ball, and that's been the bane of his inning so far. Those first pitch balls have not gotten him ahead, and it completely alters how you're facing a batter. So the 1-0 pitch, able to find the strike zone there, and now it moves to 1-1 against Brad Keith. Keith, the only guy still in this lineup who started, continuing his hot past couple games at the plate. Looks at that 1-1 pitch, and it's well up, so now it moves to 2-1. The fourth time this game that we've seen the bases loaded here for Salisbury. Saw it back in the second, back in the fourth, and also back in the third when they stranded the bases loaded. So now that pitch is up for a 3-1. Amarillo at a risk with a free pass and walking a runner in. Salisbury already up 13-0 here in this one. But Amarillo able to take a little bit off and find the zone for that one. Good presence of mind there from Amarillo. Always difficult when you get in that rut and you're struggling to find your command. Sometimes not much you can do to find that strike zone, and there's never really a solid answer when you're out on the mound struggling. But Amarillo, good presence of mind to take a little bit off and knowing that he just needs a strike. The biggest thing here for the left-hander is you got to pitch to contact with the bases juiced. So he gets a swing there from Brad Keith. Keith pops it up into the shallow infield, and that'll be out number 3 as Poyer makes the catch. So Salisbury, second time in this game that they leave the bases loaded. But it looks like it won't hurt them too much as they're still up in this one 13-0. Salisbury will look to close this one out as Andrew Rosso heads back out to the mound, looking to end this one in the top of the 9th. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on the Seagull Sports Network.
Well, it's too long living in the same old life. I feel too cold to live, too young to die. Well, you walk the line like it's there to choose. Just forget the wins, it's the best to use. Won't you follow me into the jungle? Ain't no God on my streets, in the heart of the jungle. Follow me into the jungle. Ain't no God on these streets, in the heart of the jungle. Won't you follow me?
So after Austin Heenan goes 7 full innings, a 3-hit baseball, it's Andrew Rosso's game. Rosso blanks Franklin and Marshall in the top of the 8th and now comes right back out in the top of the 9th to lead it off with a strike and moves up 0-1. That second pitch will be 1-1 to move it. And he's facing Kelsey Lawney. Lawney hitting .333 so far this year. He started 7 games, came in an appearance in this one, and he's able to log his first hit of the game. Drives that one right up to center field as Rosso leaves that one a little bit too up the middle. So the first runner on here for Franklin and Marshall. It was where Franklin and Marshall saw a little bit of that success was when they were either able to get ahead in a count and make pitchers bring them a pitch or that aggressive swinging early on. It's what we saw earlier in the second and third innings when they were able to get a couple runners on, and if it weren't for some double plays, possibly get a couple runners across the plate. And that pitch by Rosso goes right over the plate, and it'll be now moving to 0-2. So Rosso gets set to deal. And that pitch driven on to right field. Brad Keith will go back, though, and it's only a couple steps as the liner doesn't have enough distance. He's able to look that one right into the glove and sent in. So out number 1 for Andrew Rosso. Now Franklin and Marshall down to their final 2 outs. So we saw that foul ball off of the leg of Jimmy Adkins. Sent him down and gave way to Chris Huck in that at-bat. It'll be Brady Thomas out over at second base. Mayo grabs that one out of the turf and looks around as if he missed it. Looks down, it's right in the glove. So it's 1-0 now for Rosso. Lonnie over at first base. One down here. And that ball runs well in and looks like it's just going to graze the shirt. Rosso not happy with himself, but that'll be an easy base there for Jason Winehouse. So now Franklin and Marshall, after 8 innings of 5 hits, no runs, now within striking distance of possibly getting someone on the board, as they've got Winehouse over at first and Lonnie at second. Rosso trying to find the strike zone, goes down 1-0 again. It'll be J.J. Freeman. Freeman trying to keep this Franklin and Marshall team alive. That one's fouled off to the right side, so it moves to 1-1 now for Freeman. Freeman looking for his first hit on the day. Reach base back in the second via the walk. Rosso gets set, kicks and deals. The breaking ball for 1-1, but it's inside and low. No call from Danny Hess behind the plate, and it's 2-1. So the 2-1 pitch from Rosso comes in. That's right on the outside corner. Great frame there from Tyler Mayo, and it'll be in for strike number 2. So it moves to 2-2 here. And the 2-2 pitch just fouled off, and that'll be out of play. It's Freeman trying to stay alive here. 2-2, 1 down. Runners on first and second here for the Diplomats. Rosso comes set. Gets set to bring the 2-2, brings it in. Mayo still outside on that corner, but that one not able to be framed right out there, and it'll move to full and count here. So Rosso trying to stay ahead, but that pitch well outside, as that'll be a full count walk now, and the Diplomats here with the bases loaded as Tyler Mayo will head out and talk to the freshman on the mound. We're also now in a little bit of trouble. Obviously a large gap, but for the freshmen, want to try and build some quality appearances, and building a quality appearance he is on his way to, but going to face a bit of a roadblock here in 3 runners on. Now it'll be Dan Baroff. That ball swung on and fouled off, so now Rosso able to get ahead of that one. So Baroff down early, 0-1. He's got the bases juiced for him and only 1 down. Takes that pitch, hits it over to Brady Thomas at second. Thomas turns it. Not able to make the 2 outs, though, and the double play not intact as Thomas makes the throw over to Cullen McAuliffe, and McAuliffe not able to turn it quick enough. Not enough behind that second throw, and it'll reach, so the shutout broken up here for Salisbury as they go 8 2/3 without giving up a run, and then on the bases loaded fielder's choice, give one up. So it's now 13-1 as Franklin and Marshall gets their first run on the board, but 2 down here for Rosso as he still looks to close this one out. And gets ahead early with a strike on the outside corner to Jimmy Whelan. Whelan looking for his first hit, or for his second hit so far today. Had a hit up the middle. Still a guy looking for some offensive success, hitting 143 before today's game. Swings on that one and moves it to 0-2. So now Franklin and Marshall down to their last strike. A runner on first and third, 2 outs, 0-2. Here the count is for Andrew Rosso on the mound. Rosso looking to close it out for the Seagulls. He comes set, kicks and deals the 0-2. Swung on and missed, and Mayo keeps it in the glove. So Andrew Rosso closes out the game with a strikeout. 2 strikeouts in that 2-inning appearance, and Salisbury takes the win at home against the Franklin and Marshall Diplomats by a score of 13-1. The offense really the story so far today. And that's exactly what Salisbury needed, was keeping an eye on that offense. It was a struggle that they've had all season. For the first time under a team from Coach Brohan, hit under 200 back in February, and then for the month of March, we're hitting 294. It's better to see, but still not what you expected from a Salisbury team that has led the CAC and been in the top 4 in the CAC in major offensive categories in the past 5 years. They've been the guys at the top, at the forefront, but Salisbury able to come in today and take advantage, right the ship, and take advantage off a Franklin and Marshall team that's ran into a couple struggles so far this year. Franklin and Marshall moves to 5-8-1, 1-1 this season against CAC teams, as they got the win earlier this season against York. But Salisbury with that win moves to 11-7, and a much-needed win coming into a big week for them as they're back in action tomorrow in more CAC work against Wesley. They'll host Wesley, and then this weekend, a big matchup against Frostburg State. Frostburg State, the number 11 team in the nation, going to be one of the teams that is vying for that top spot in the CAC, along with Christopher Newport. So for Salisbury, the big key is the offense, and another quality start from Austin Heenan as he goes 7 full innings, 3-hit baseball, 7 strikeouts on the day, 2 walks, and no runs allowed. Andrew Rosso, first collegiate appearance, gives up the 1 run in the 9th, but 2 strikeouts, 2 hits, able to close out this one. And for Franklin and Marshall, the road doesn't get any easier as they'll get started to work against their conference play. They host Washington College, on the road to Washington College this upcoming weekend on Saturday. And for Salisbury, a much-needed win, a much-needed offensive onslaught for them. Coming into today, they move up to 9-1 when they're scoring first, and the big keys are depending on how they're hitting that day. And off of 18 hits, Coach Brohan definitely happy with a Tuesday afternoon baseball. So thanks for sticking around with us. A long game, but a win in the books for the Gulls. As I said, they're back in action tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's a home game against Wesley. It'll be myself and Drew Williams back in action. So thanks for tuning in, and as always, we'd like to have you tuning in here to the Seagull Sports Network. We'll see you tomorrow.